Hi guys, welcome to another coffee break. So this is going to be a story time coffee break. We're going to talk about small faith, but I'm going to talk about my journey to becoming a producer for the show Fatal Attraction on TV1. But before we get started, here's my coffee joke. So in space, the moon, Mars, Pluto. Is Pluto still a planet? I don't know. But anyway, what do they use to pay for coffee in outer space? Starbucks. Welcome to Coffee Break.
A little bit of coffee never hurt nobody. Take a sip, we're reaching for the stars. Happy days, this is where it starts. Hey, kick back for a moment, relax, stay a while. Tune in for a second, we are sure to make you smile. We are filling up your cup, so please stick around. Here's a little morning inspiration. Before you go, just take a sip before you.
Okay, guys, so this is my coffee mug today. God is good. I don't know if you can see. It has a scripture there. I don't know if you guys can see. I love it. You guys know I love black. So this is my mug today. I love it. I collect mugs. It's my thing. So today I want to tie in this notion of small faith with just some examples in my life. And so we have been really studying this idea of faith, 2022 for me and for my fiance, we're really focusing on being intentional about having active faith. We love God. God is the center of our relationship. We love learning. We love church. We love worship. We love praise. We love praying. But we are at a point where we want to have a deeper connection. And so we're really being intentional about having active faith. So one of the things we've been doing, as I mentioned in one of my other videos, is we have been reading together. Not just reading the Bible, not just doing Bible plans, but reading books and taking notes and talking about it. And so when we were reading a chapter in Crazy Faith by Michael Todd, let me show you the book. Again, I promise Michael Todd is not sponsoring this video, but I just love this book. And there's a couple of other books that I want to share with you guys. But one of the chapters early on is about small faith. And then today, we are watching Elevation Worship, Elevation Church in North Carolina with Pastor Steve. And Pastor Holly got on, and what she was talking about today was to say yes to simple. So between Pastor Michael Todd and Pastor Holly from Elevation, both talking about small faith and saying yes to simple, this got me to really thinking about the places in my life where I have seen that work. I think it's so important when you are up against an obstacle or you're in a shift or a transition that you recall the times in your life where you saw God show up. You recall the times in your life where you were really doubting something and you saw it come to pass. Or you recall the times in your life where you first started something, and you first start something and you're not really good, you kind of suck. And then you reflect on where you are now and how much you've grown, right? So for me, I'm in a huge shift in my life right now. Things are going amazing career-wise, personally, but I'm in a process of shifting because my focus is shifting as I identify what God is calling me to do more and more. And so I'm really practicing sitting still and small faith. Okay. And sometimes it's really, really hard. So both things, the chapter in the book and church today, made me think about if I'm saying yes to these simple steps and if I'm practicing small faith. So that made me go back into my memory bank and think about where I have seen this work. And guys, let me tell you, sometimes I am hard-headed and God just smacks me over the head with the reality. And the truth is that a couple of days ago, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary being a full-time nationwide television producer. And it's so crazy, guys, because like 2-3 years ago, I said I want to work in television. Like when I tell you guys, I prayed every day. I want to work in television. I could not figure out how to get from where I was to working in television. And I tried. You know how you sometimes get in the way, right? I tried. I was like, let me look if there's any school programs that are just focused on television, okay? I don't need the film stuff. I mean, I could always learn more in film, but I was actively being a filmmaker. So anything that's a television producer. Is there anybody I know, anything I can do to work in television, you know? I was obsessed with it, right? I prayed and then I just let it go. Life happened and, you know, cancer, COVID, all this stuff. I already talked about it. And I kind of just let it go. And then a year ago, I decided that I was going to say yes. Shonda Rhimes wrote a book years ago, Year of Yes. Let me tell you, I took that book to Paris with me and I read it over and over again. You know, her Year of Yes. If you have not read that book, definitely get it. It's a couple years old. Well, more than a couple years, but you know, it's a couple years old, but it's such a good book and it's an easy read. So I had that book with me. And so about a year ago, I'm like, just say yes to the things you don't want to do. And so for me, that wasn't big things. You know, I could move across the country. Okay, let's do it. But it's the little things that I was afraid to say yes to. You know, posting a picture, putting up a comment, jumping in somebody's inbox to ask them a question. Like, oh no, I don't like rejection. I don't want to do that. So about a year ago, one of my mutual friends who was a television producer, she posted on Facebook and she said that she was looking for somebody to fill a position at her job. And she was looking for someone like a producer, she was looking for someone to work in a pre-pro department. Okay. So now I had to humble myself, set my ego down, because here I am producing film. You know, we just started I Elevate TV. I was promoted to VP. You know, I'm doing all this stuff. But in my heart, I wanted to really do television. And I was ready to start at the bottom. But I was afraid, you know. So she put up this message, this post. And without thinking, and let me also say the way God works is so strategic, because I was in the middle of a Facebook fast. Okay, I got to do this from time to time because Facebook makes me feel like sometimes it's just too much, right? So I was on a Facebook fast and I needed to do something for work. So I just got on Facebook real quick. That was the first thing I saw on my news feed. I opened up Facebook, first thing I saw. I didn't even have time to think. I was like, okay, just inbox her. I sent her an inbox and I said, hey, you know, I would love to know more about what you're looking for, you know? And she was like, okay, great, let's talk. So I get off Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, I really want this. I really want this. So I am like not telling anybody. I am completely trying to put all my energy towards this job. Now, I didn't even know what the job was. All I knew was television, pre-production. I knew she was a producer. So the next day she gives me a call and she tells me about the job. She's like, this is a researcher booking position. You will be working for a show and you will be doing a lot of the research, a lot of the bookings. And like, I'm not gonna lie, she scared me because she was like, you can't, there's no excuses. You got to get it done. You have to make sure that you're finding these people. And I'm like, hey, I am a great Facebook stalker. I am a great social media stalker. I am all about pop culture and I can trace back things. This is what I do. So I could do this job. I could research, but I was terrified. And she's like, okay, all right. And she said, do you have a resume? I said, I do. So she told me some things just to highlight in my resume. I did it that night and I almost didn't do it, guys. I hate doing resumes. So I almost didn't do it. So once again, the first time I said yes to simply saying yes, was responding to her post. I had small faith. Okay, this is a little baby step. She is going to reach out. Then when she asked me to do my resume, I was like, oh man, I need to have somebody do it. I don't know how to do it. How is it going to be good? But I said yes. I said, okay, if I really want this, I need to do it. I did my resume in about an hour. I sent it to her. She calls me. I just want to know so I'm prepared. Did you make up anything on this resume? Like, did you research the job and put it on here? I said, no, this is what I do. She said, so everything on this resume you've done? I said, yeah, and I actively do. She said, oh, okay, that's good. She called a mutual friend of ours to, see if I was a good fit. And that friend was like, I can tell you that Onyx has been doing this for years, So she said, I am going to push your resume through. Now I'm on edge. First of all, to know me is to know. I have been working for myself the majority of my adult life. Okay? Very rarely have I had a boss, have I had a 9-to-5, have I had an interview, So I'm already like, this is a new world, okay? Somebody else is going to tell me if I'm good enough. So I'm waiting. I get the call. I get the email. The email says, we'd love to set up an interview. I am freaking out, but I'm like, okay. I call her back and I'm like, they want to have an interview. What do I do? What do I say? And she, and let me just interject here. There's been many times throughout the past year where she's had to talk me off the ledge because I'm freaking out about something. Like, I love her so much. We have become such great friends and I thank God for her. So I'm freaking out. She's like, you got it. No problem. Right? She talked me through, what to say, talked to me about the show. So I have the interview and I am literally shaking in my boots. Okay. I am terrified, but I go through the interview. I'm used to talking to people. This is what I do as a profession. I told them I was comfortable with, reaching out to people and all this stuff. And she asked me, when I would be able to start. I'm like, I could start today. You want me to start in an hour? When do you need me to start? And she was like, okay, so we have a couple of other people to interview and we will call you back. So now we wait. And I'm not telling anybody. I am suffering in silence by myself because I am scared to even let myself imagine what it would be like if I got a yes. Day goes by, nothing. 2 days go by, nothing. Now I'm freaking out because I also have an instant gratification complex. I'm like, God, if this is for me, please, what do I need to do? Like, what's happening? So I send an email and I say, hey, it's been a couple of days. I'm just checking up, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, I'm so glad that you emailed me. We definitely want to hire you. Can you start on the 18th? And I'm like, yes, screaming on the inside, but I'm typing and I'm just like, of course, yes, great. And she's like, okay, production management will reach out to you, send you a contract, send you a start date, give you an offer. Nothing. I mean, no email, no nothing. The 18th is coming, okay? And I'm like, what is happening? Did they change their mind? So again, I had to have small faith and say yes to simply sending a follow-up email because I was afraid. I'm like, oh no, they don't want me, defeated, crying in the bed, all of this stuff. But I had faith enough to just send an email. Sent an email. I said, hey, the 18th is 2 days away and I haven't received XYZ. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry. We're backed up. You will get your contract by the end of the day. I got the contract, guys. Not only did I get the job, but I got a salary that I was quietly praying about. So I said yes. Of course, yes. But now it's time to start. And here's the thing. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, how am I going to do this? I was so nervous. First day, like, I made myself sick. I was so nervous. I was telling people around me what was happening, and like some people were like really, really like excited. And then some people who I thought would be happy for me, like they didn't even say anything. They didn't even acknowledge. They didn't congratulate me. They didn't anything. So I felt like, am I making too much of a big deal? Is it not a big deal? I felt really a little disheartened by the lack of response that I got. And that's when I had to check myself on validation. Like, it doesn't matter even if it's my best friend is not celebrating me. I have to still celebrate my successes. So I was so happy. First day, here we go. I'm a television producer, and that shit was hard, okay? Hard, guys. So my contract was for like 16 weeks. As the 16 weeks are starting to whittle down, I'm starting to catch my stride. And now I'm realizing this is what I want to do. But I'm also realizing that I want to expand past being a researcher, because technically, even though I was in pre-production, I wasn't titled as a producer yet. I was a researcher. And I was almost ready to settle for that because I was working in TV. So I wanted to be a field producer. And I was so afraid. But having that small faith, I talked to my showrunner and I told her, I'm interested in progressing and being a field producer or associate producer or post producer or writer. And I was shocked that she was all for it. She thought I was doing great. What would have happened if I would not have sent that email? What would happen if I wouldn't have taken the initiative to ask for what I wanted? What would have happened? I wouldn't be where I am today, I know. So God is amazing because not only did she give me some pointers, she had a meeting with me and the VP of the company. And she told this man, she felt like I had a long career here. And he told me, if you want to be with us, we want you. He said, any show you want to work on, let me know. He said, any skills you want to learn, talk to us. That we're all about promoting from within. And I was positioned to at least be seen as someone who was a go-getter. Why? Because I had small faith and I said yes to simply asking. And then talk about God showing out. There were no episodes left on my show to do that I could field produce, right? I was researching, we did the end of season 6 of For My Man. The same woman who encouraged me to apply knew that I had it in my heart to be a field producer. She is the top field producer, okay? And she had one more show to do. Do you guys know? She gave me the show. She gave me the show. She saw in me that I was capable, I was deserving, and I desired. And she gave me her show to field produce. Now, guys, I'm not getting into specifics, but that's not just like, oh, here, take my show. It's a lot of money you get paid to field produce. And she took that money out of her pocket in her household and she gave me the show. And I was ready to field produce my first television show with a full salary for field producing. It was amazing, all because I had small faith. So I'm going to let you guys know what happened after that, because where I am now is like, whoa, it's like unbelievable. But for now, that's where I'm going to end this story. Guys, have small faith. Say yes to the simple and trust your circle, guys. She believed in me. And when I finish the story, you're going to see how it came all the way around, because what she did for me, I was able to do for somebody else. And we continuously pour into each other. So guys, that's it for Coffee Break. Thank you for spending some time and having some coffee with me.
Get started. A little bit of coffee never hurt nobody. Take a sip.